All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your morning cybersecurity threat briefing. First things first, my name is Gerald Auger. I'm a cybersecurity professional, and I've got some hot takes on some current events. We're going to get into the top news stories of the day. We'll have a good time in chat. It's all about coffee, commentary, and friends. Thank you for being here at 8 a.m. Eastern with me. If you're watching on replay, cheers to you. Hope you had some coffee. Or tea if that's your speed. Really hope everybody's doing well. Hump day. What's going on in chat? Let me see. Are we getting the chat overlay? Oh no, I'm sorry. How dare I? How dare I? I'm so sorry. Let me bring chat in here, guys. Hey, Jax, good to see you. Good to see you. Dr. Joseph. We'll give it a few minutes. People rolling in. BSEC, always standard. We got a good one today. I don't know if it's going to be in the news or not, but I read this morning when I was getting my first cup of coffee about how Google's abandoning Flock. That wasn't a good one. Hey, Muhammad, Stella, Mubarez, always a pleasure. If you guys are in the anti-siphon Black Hills training, active defense training with me, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I actually did a video diary after training yesterday. I'll do another one today. I'll do another one tomorrow, and I'm going to splice it all together. And I've decided I'm going to put together like a retrospective experience of that particular training and kind of bundle it up. So it's like, if you're interested in maybe taking one of John's courses, and specifically that one, and you want to know more about it, you can just watch this video that I'll be making, and it'll give you everything. It's basically going to be a hype video though, because the training's awesome. It's wicked awesome. So if you're in there, you know what's going on. Ron, Cyber Tuesday. I'm not sure where you are. It's Wednesday here. Brendan, good to see you. Michael Taylor. All right. You guys, this is awesome. Bringing it in. Yeah, Tom's in there. Tom knows what's up. Oh, yeah, people. Hey, Pamela, you're in there. You know what's going on. So good to see you guys. I got to tell you, I can see the numbers of how many people are watching across the platforms. We're streaming to LinkedIn. We're streaming to YouTube. There's a Facebook and Twitch presence, but I think BSEC's the only one on Twitch and nobody's on Facebook, which is fine. I don't care. But seeing the numbers pour in, you guys choosing to spend your morning with the Simply Cyber community, having this great conversation, drinking good coffee, getting up to date on threat intelligence. It's just fantastic. It's really a special part of my day every day. So I want to personally thank you, all of you, for taking the time to be here and be part of this. Hey, Eric, good to see you. Pete, you're so generous. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So guys, before we get into it, I want to say that this episode of First Things First is brought to you by Anti-Siphon Training. They didn't sponsor it or anything like that, but I'm having such a good experience in the active defense one that I basically just looked up when their next training is, and they're doing SOC core skills, and it looks like they're doing it on February 28th. So this is a pay what you can model. So like if you can pay $0, that's fine. John's really interested in getting this knowledge out there. You could pay up to $545. So, for some folks out there who maybe want to jump on that SOC train, maybe you just got a job in a SOC, looking at you, Tom Pike, and you want to, beef up the skill set. This could be a good opportunity. I'm telling you, this is so cool. It's just, I really enjoyed it. Okay, now a little bit of housekeeping before we get into it. I don't know if you guys can read that. On yesterday's broadcast, we talked about a story with SMBs, small and medium-sized business, getting $3 million to help them figure out information security. And that IT guy messaged me on YouTube and basically said that I was kind of harsh and said that, MSPs weren't real cybersecurity, that I sounded kind of elitist. And, he made some good points here. And I don't take these things personal. I really reflected on what he said. I thought about it and I wanted to address this comment. Okay. So he and I went back and forth and discussed it. But for anyone who doesn't feel comfortable openly, I guess, challenging or questioning or having open discourse, I'm speaking to you because I want this to be crystal. When I said that MSPs are focused on IT and IT and InfoSec are two different things, I'm all about inclusion. Like this community is all about inclusion. I was painting with a broad brush because I was trying to keep it succinct for the first things first format. Just to go a little bit further, in most instances, MSPs, which are managed service providers, which are like outsourced IT for small businesses, which I have studied extensively, for the most part, they are providing IT services. That does not mean that you do not have professionals working at MSPs that provide also information security services, right? So there is services of InfoSec. Also, there are IT people who are security savvy, right? Like BSec's a perfect example, right? He knows his stuff, but he's traditional IT, right? So you can have that mindset, but on the base, on the standard, an MSP's contractual obligation, what the business is paying them to do is provide IT services. For example, an IT provider or an IT professional, an MSP, make sure that you have email. And make sure the CEO's email works. And make sure that account payable email works. That email's up. Email. An MSP may not be looking for people who have forward rules set on certain emails or kind of shadow email accounts that get created or anything like that. Things that are more information security focused, right? Another one, you might do backups, right? Like that's a total IT function. Doing backups, making sure the backups are up. That's an IT function. Maybe you do some restorations from time to time. In information security, maybe more focused on actually doing a simulated tabletop exercise with backup restoration to understand that the processes and workflows of the business will align when you do need to recover from backups in the event of a real significant incident, right? So it's not that the two are misaligned and that InfoSec is better than IT. It's just what their core function is, what their purpose and intent, the mission are slightly different. IT is making sure IT services are available to enable the business. InfoSec is making sure that those services are used for what they're designed and what their intent is. Okay, so I just wanted to openly discuss that. I'm not saying that IT people aren't good people or InfoSec people. System maintenance versus system abuse. Thank you, Stefan. So I just wanted to address that. Okay, it is a hot topic. I do take the philosophical position that IT and InfoSec are a Venn diagram, and there is overlap, but there is also mutual exclusion in some areas. And hopefully, I'm not reading the comments while I'm talking about this, but hopefully this is clear. Hopefully, I'm not projecting myself as some D who's like, oh, like IT is beneath me, because that's not the case whatsoever. Like IT is very important, and those professionals have their own challenges, of course. So thank you, that IT guy, for having allowing us this open discourse and allowing me the opportunity to clarify my thoughts and my positions on this. Okay, so guys, if you want to play along, we are on cisoseries.com. We're doing the headlines for January 26, 2022. You're obviously happy to listen with us. And let's get into it. I hope you guys have a good day. I look forward to going back and reading the comments. Hopefully there's some good discussion in here. Thank you, everybody. Let's get into it.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Wednesday, January 26th, 2021. Canada's foreign ministry hacked. As of Monday night, Canadian cybersecurity officials were still working to restore internet services of Canada's foreign ministry, which were affected by a cyber attack which it detected last Wednesday. A statement from the Treasury Board indicated that critical services are still functioning. The attack coincided with the Canadian Center for Cybersecurity's warning to critical infrastructure operators to ensure adequate protection against Russia-backed cyber threats. No further details about the genesis of the attack on the ministry have been provided so far.
Okay, so I mean, whenever there's news stories from this website, it's always one sentence, which is terrible, and they want you to register, which I'm not interested in doing. So basically, Canada's foreign ministry hacked. This is another, nation state government agency that has been attacked. You may be able to draw a loose line between Ukraine and what the activity going on over there in Canada. Also, CISA recently released last week an alert to be on the lookout for lack of a better term, like the wiper, the Whispergate, the Russian operations in Ukraine, to be on the lookout for that in the United States. So I don't know if this is like a James Bond film where there's like some Spectre organization that's like executing the beginning steps of a global orchestrated mission or not. It's definitely interesting. Nothing we can do about it, at least in my position, right? Thanks, Carl Scott, for the sub. But it is interesting. Again, we're living in really dynamic times, and it's good to stay abreast of these geopolitical cybersecurity incidents, just because they move quick. And then I don't know. I'm philosophically of the position that World War III will have a heavy cybersecurity battlefield element to it, if not start with that and then have kinetic afterwards. So hopefully this is unrelated to what's going on in Ukraine and Russian-backed attackers. Hopefully it's just a coincidence, right? I mean, bad guys can attack. Sometimes bad guys attack sites and they don't even know what they got, right? I mean, it's possible the Canada's foreign ministry just happened to be caught up in a campaign.
Activists target Belarus rail system to stop Russian military buildup.
Wow.
Activists in Belarus said on Monday that they had infected the network of Belarus railway system with ransomware and would only provide the decryption. Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko stopped aiding Russian troops ahead of a possible invasion of Ukraine. The group posted on Telegram and Twitter that they encrypted the majority of servers, databases, and workstations and destroyed backups with the goal of overthrowing Lukashenko's regime, building a democratic state, and protecting human rights. The attack appears to have affected billing and scheduling systems, but the hackers deliberately excluded automation and security systems to avoid emergency situations.
Okay, so this is interesting. Again, one thing I would point out really quickly is I like to keep a organized bookmark list of use cases and examples, so I can quickly, if I'm putting together a deck for executives or for whoever, and you want to have an element of like hacktivism as a motivation, right? Because not all hackers are criminally motivated, financially motivated. Sometimes it's ideology, and this is a great example. And it's recent, so there you go. I don't know if you can hold the rail system hostage, and then the president's going to do something about it. We'll see. I do find two things interesting. One, using ransomware as a mechanism to basically DOS a system. They're not interested in the money. The ransom isn't money. The ransom is action by a political figure to change something that's going on in the country. So that's it. As far as I know, that's the first time I've heard of ransomware used in a way that isn't for financial gain. I don't know what this president's going to do. I mean, to me, it's kind of like dealing with terrorists. So I don't know what the position is in Belarus on their policy for handling that. But again, it's all about there's this Russian buildup, quite concerning. One other thing I want to point out, and I think this is incredibly savvy of these dudes as threat actors, they intentionally did not target operation technology or critical infrastructure. I'm putting that kind of broadly, but they intentionally didn't do this attack in order to cause a national emergency, because you do that and you call down the thunder, right? This is really inconvenient, but just look at what happened in Colonial Pipeline. You got people filling trash bags with gasoline, and all of a sudden the entire US government gets involved, and in like 72 hours, like dark side just disappears or breaks up and the money gets taken back. So anyways, savvy move by these guys.
Segway victimized by MageCard attack. According to Malwarebytes, the producer of the infamous personal motorized transporter has been serving up a nasty credit card harvesting skimmer via its website since January 6th. The researchers indicate the skimmer is likely linked to the MageCard Group 12 and has exposed victims in the US, Australia, Canada, the UK, and Germany. Threat actors embedded the skimmer inside a favicon.ico file, which is a small icon image that links to other websites. The researchers noted, quote, "The compromise of the Segway store is a reminder that even well-known and trusted brands can be affected by MageCard attacks. While it is usually more difficult for threat actors to breach a large website, the payoff is well worth it," end quote.
Okay, so a couple things here. One, if you do work in retail or in some capacity where you're using credit cards, POSs, gas stations, point of sale is POS, online retail, you should be aware of MageCard. MageCard has been around for a while. You hear about it a lot. And basically, they're really good at credit card skimming, which is basically stealing your credit card number. I guess it is worth noting that Segway is a major player, so even big boys can get taken down. I want to point out from a technical perspective. I don't know about you guys, but like I'm going to take this for action personally. They hid the skimmer software inside the favicon, guys. If for those who don't know, like the favicon is like, do you see on my tab up here how this thing's orange and this one's like black and red? Like it's literally the little icon that it sits up in the browser tab to make it like personalized. That is not a big file. I think it might be 32 by 32 pixels. It's tiny. So I don't understand how I don't know. I mean, that might be some weird version of steganography. But personally, I'm interested in learning about how they embedded this in favicon from a technical execution perspective, because I can't imagine writing credit card skimming software and having it that optimized, right, or that small. But interesting stuff.
Linux system service bug surrenders root on all major distros. Researchers at Qualys have identified a vulnerability in Polkit's pkexec, which they believe is present in the default configuration of all major Linux distributions and can be exploited to gain full root privileges on the system. pkexec allows an authorized user to execute commands as another user, doubling as an alternative to sudo. The flaw, dubbed PwnKit and tagged as CVE-2021-4034, has been traced back to the initial commit of pkexec, meaning it has been present for more than 12 years. A public exploit emerged less than 3 hours after Qualys published the technical details for PwnKit on Tuesday, and administrators are urged to apply patches released by PwnKit's authors on GitLab. And now, a word from our...
All right, so... Sorry. I am sorry. That hurt my ears, so I'm sure that blew out your ears. I'm really sorry about that. So this is interesting. I was going to try to play this like without audio, but I don't know. Vimeo's controls stink. So a couple things here. This is called PwnKit. It's CVE 2021 4034. Oh, good. I'm glad, BSEC. This one is interesting. Okay, guys, this is one that you need to take away today. If it affects all major distros. So I don't know what that means, but to me, major means like Ubuntu, Debian, Gentoo, if you want to go that route, like major ones. So assume if you have Linux in your environment, assume it's a major one. There is an exploit already released. When we're talking about threat and vulnerability management and calculating that CVSS score, the CVSS score of how critical that vulnerability is typically depends on how close you need to be to the network and how bad you can exploit the system through that vulnerability. Do you have to chain it with other vulnerabilities? Guys, if there's an exploit out already released, that means that the pool of potential attackers has increased dramatically because normally if there's no exploit, you have to know how to write like shellcode or write some type of tool in order to exploit. So the population is dramatically reduced of potential threat actors. With the exploit released, it's point and click time for skids, script kiddies, or lower level, less technical attackers, right? People who are curious or whatever. So this would be let's patch it sooner than later. At minimum, find out where they are. Find out where affected systems are in your environment. I would not be surprised if tools like Nessus and Tenable and all those release a specific plugin to check for this vulnerability in your environment. Also maybe these attack-based validation control systems to test if you can exploit it, like Simulate. If you can exploit it, if you have access to one of those, you definitely want to check this out. I'm not saying the sky is falling. I'm just saying with the scope of what this is, and with an exploit being released, the for me personally, the focus elevates to, I need to like look at this today, at least get talking to my IT brethren about, what's our Linux footprint, which I already know in my environment. But like, if you don't know your Linux footprint in your environment, start talking to your Linux admins today, send this to them, ask them what's going on, what's up. The CVE is 2021-4034. Pwn kit. It's got a name, so you know it's legit. I'm sure it'll be just a matter of time before it gets a cool logo. I'm sorry. I know that the resolution's kind of garbage. It's got a 7.8 score. This is according to Red Hat. Although that might be MITRE's score. Anyways, yep. Here you go. 2021-4034. Know this. Okay, guys, let's keep rolling.
Sponsor, Deep Watch.
Skip.
Microsoft says Microsoft Intune and using a work profile experience email and VPN connectivity issues due to missing certificates after upgrading to Android 12. Intune is a cloud-based service designed to help enterprise admins manage Windows, Mac OS, iOS, iPad OS, and Android apps. And after the Android up, those using the AnyConnect VPN app will see prompts that a client certificate could not be found, while Outlook customers have reported issues accessing their email due to their SMIME certificate disappearing. While Microsoft is still working with Samsung to address these issues, users can work around them by clearing their VPN app data cache and by reinstalling Russia crackdown on.
Okay, guys, so this is another one that, yeah, I know, I love it, BSEC. To all 83 of you in chat right now, thank you for being here. I sincerely appreciate it. Guys, Samsung does have a huge footprint in the Android, like mobile phone, tablet space. And with remote workforce, guys, lots of people are using VPNs and checking email on their phone, right? It's 2022. So this is important. Why is it important, Jerry? Because you're going to get a lot of help desk tickets saying, my phone doesn't work, it's broke. If you're using Microsoft Intune for mobile device management, also referred to as MDM, there's workarounds posted at the respective sites for Gmail and any Cisco AnyConnect, right? So there's workarounds. They're working on a patch. I just want you to know, like, to me, this is something, like, I don't want to say hands-off guy, but like, this is something that I'm going to forward to my director of IT as soon as I get off this stream and say, hey, for your situational awareness, Samsung devices are breaking because of an Intune cert. I'll probably send it to the entire field engineer support team, that the individuals who help end users who have IT issues, to make them aware of this particular issue, make them aware of the workarounds, and hopefully Microsoft Intune fixes the certs and they can push that down. Samsung has a huge footprint, guys, right? I don't want to say it's as big as iPhones, but like a lot of people have Samsung devices. So definitely want to take this one, take a note, whatever, like go to cisoseries.com. The story will be there. Tom Pike dropped a link in chat. You definitely want to forward this one to IT and let them know, because this, like, you're going to hear about this later today at work.
Hacker groups continues. The Russian Federal Security Service and law enforcement have arrested Andrei Sergeyevich Novak, leader of the Infraud organization, along with 3 other members of the hacker group that caused losses of more than $560 million by acquiring and trading stolen payment card data and identities over a period of 7 years. In 2018, an international law enforcement operation disrupted the organization, with the U.S. Department of Justice indicting 36 suspects, 13 of whom have been arrested in various countries. Novak has been detained for 2 months while the investigation clarifies his role in the hacking group, while the other 3 alleged members have been placed under house arrest.
Wow. Okay. So this is coming hot on the heels of Russia, basically destroying the Revil ransomware organization. On the surface, from an international health perspective, Thank you, Russia. Thank you, FSB division of Russia, for taking down another hacker collective, another basically financially motivated, identity theft stealing criminal empire. The fewer of these there are, the better. The more public there is of taking down these organizations, the more pause threat actors are going to take before embarking on these type of criminal operations. I hate to be cynical. I really hate to be cynical, but it begs questioning. Like, I wonder if there's like someone who's now been moved into level of authority in FSB that is serious about taking these down, because traditionally these criminal enterprises have operated almost with immunity in Russia if they don't attack Russia, right? It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but like basically that's it. And now Russia in the last 2 weeks have taken down one of the largest ransomware operators from an impact perspective, and now they're taking out this massive payment card, like financial criminal empire. So very interesting, the timing of it all, the frequency of it all, juxtaposed, if I will, with I don't get to use that word very often, like very, very, very seldomly, juxtaposed with the way that they're, what's going on with Ukraine and all these geopolitical, nation state agencies coming under cyber attack, and people like, kind of not being able to provide attribution, but pointing to Russia as a potential attacker. It's very interesting. Again, there's nothing really here for you to take action on. Just know that this is a good thing, right? There's one less major threat actor out there hurting people, because these people are hurting like end users, personal people, like your mom, right? Like they're stealing credit cards of individuals, not, businesses.
Staff negligence is now a major reason for insider security incidents. According to Proofpoint's 2022 Cost of Insider Threats global report published on Tuesday, insider threats now cost organizations $15.4 million annually, an increase of 34% in comparison to 2020 estimates. The report, which surveyed over 1,000 IT professionals worldwide, indicates that 56% of insider-related incidents were caused by staff or contractor negligence, totaling losses of roughly $6.6 million, while 26% of insider incidents were linked to criminal activities and 18% were caused by theft of employee credentials, costing $4.1 million and $4.6 million respectively. Also notable, it took organizations an average of 85 days to resolve these incidents, an increase from 77 days in Proofpoint's previous report. Only 12% of reported incidents were contained within 30 days.
Okay. Insider threat. We know, okay, so we've always known about insider threats. It's a tough thing to do, because you don't want to cast shade on people who work there. You want to kind of have like we're all on the same team, but then you don't want to be walking around like, show me your papers kind of thing. So what I want to point out is when they say staff negligence, this is when I think of insider threat. Even though the percentages that they showed, or I'd have to dig into the report to see what their research efficacy was and what their data population was, but like staff negligence, in my opinion, is almost always the reason for insider threat, right? Like when we say insider threat and we talk about it, you're always like, and they always have the stupid graphic of like, it's like good person, good, like stick figure, like good person, evil person, good person, good person. Like, yeah, that's the easy way to portray it. But like most in reality, like in the real world of working in a business, like that's not what happens. Normally it's somebody trying to they're just trying to do their job. People are just trying to get their work done so they can go home and, do whatever they want to do. And that's usually where the problem is. You have physicians who are just like being beaten down and they have tons of paperwork. So they bring it home, throw it in their car. Car gets robbed. There you go. There's a huge data breach. Got to report that, right? You leave your phone in an Uber and you didn't have a PIN on your phone. Got to report that, right? Someone's got their hands full. This is a social engineering attack, but someone's got their hands full, and Carl opens the door for him because Carl's trying to be a nice guy. Carl isn't like in cahoots with the bad guy. He's just gotten basically socially engineered. So staff negligence really does happen quite a bit. And this is why it's so important, people. This is a learning opportunity for you to educate your end users and make them aware of these risks. Again, people really want to do the right thing. It's just you need to enable them with the knowledge to know what the right thing is, because in the absence of knowledge, people are going to fill in the gaps. It's like the DNA in Jurassic Park, right? They had most of the dinosaur DNA, and the parts they didn't, they just jammed frog DNA in there. People without knowledge are going to jam frog DNA in there, which means they're going to make their own risk-based decisions without all the information. And oftentimes it results in cybersecurity compromises. And like compromise is like a huge generic term. I'm not saying the business goes out of business. I'm saying I mean, it could be, right? You give your credentials away because you fell for a fish. Boom, that's a problem. Train your end users. I guess that's what I'm saying.
ISC Squared aims to launch entry-level cybersecurity certification.
Oh, I about
ISC
this.
Squared has opened registration for an entry-level cybersecurity certification exam pilot program. The exam evaluates candidates across 5 domains, including business continuity, disaster recovery and incident response, access controls, network security, and security operations. The program aims to help close the cybersecurity workforce gap by assuring employers that new entrants to the field have the needed skills and knowledge to contribute to an organization's cybersecurity team. And that does it for today.
Okay, so a couple things, right? When you get the question, hey, what do you recommend, Jerry, for entry-level certification? And depending on what the person's story is and background and where they are in their journey, it's usually Security Plus, right? That's like step one. It gives you a good, it gives you a good base. It gives you a good foundation. You get a lot of exposure to terminology and elements of cybersecurity, and then you can kind of build on there. It's like grading a lot before you build your house of your cybersecurity career. Like, I don't know why ISC Squared has waited 15, 20 years to do this one. They have the SSCP, which is like ISC Squared Junior. CISSP Junior for IT professionals. But I really think that this guy right here is supposed to be a Security Plus killer, if you want to use, that kind of industry terminology. Long story short, we'll see. Time will tell. I don't know anything about this certification. They are obviously targeting a gap in the industry because we all talk about it. There's a huge gap between people who want to get in and jobs that employers have that they have expectations of what people's education is. Maybe this is what replaces CISSP as a requirement on an entry-level position. And for those of you who don't know, that's a cert that takes you're supposed to have 5 years of experience before you get it. So obviously there's a huge disconnect when you're talking about entry-level positions and opportunities. So I know we ran a little long today. I just want to remind everybody on Thursday of this week, so tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be talking to Ricky Tan, cyber cartographer and YouTube channel content creator over at Cyberspatial. So if you're interested in a different YouTube content creator besides, the situation that is Simply Cyber, check out his content. But we're going to be talking about cyber cartography as a role and what that really is. Ricky's a really, really smart guy, and he's really fun to talk to. And he's got great lighting. So that'll be fun. All right, guys. I know I ran a little long today. Thank you for giving me that grace. I definitely wanted to make sure that I addressed that comment that I made yesterday, which took a few minutes, but I think it really warranted the attention and focus that I gave it. You guys are all wonderful, in case you didn't know. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'll be doing First Things First for y'all. Come back. I teach on Tuesday and Thursday, so of course, I can't do the 8 a.m. one because I teach at 8 a.m. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. If you haven't done it already, come on over to simplycyber.io/Discord. It's basically like this chat, except all the time, right? There's good people in there. We're sharing knowledge. We're networking. We're supporting each other. It's a good time. My name's Gerald Auger. This is First Things First. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you.